It's going.
Oh, yeah, nah, pretty good.
Thinking we should chuck a podcast. What do you reckon?
Oh, yeah, nah, I can. Come round, let's do a thing.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Welcome back to another What Do You Reckon?
What do you reckon? This is I don't know. I would call this a supplementary episode.
Yeah, well, this one has a very specific theme.
That I want to
It's a
continue on.
segment. Yeah, it's going to be continuous. And I really like this idea. So welcome to round 4. And this is Show and Tell, part 1. So Liam told me about this idea. Like I sent through you that big list of future ideas for the podcast, and you came back with this brilliant idea of, in school, everybody loved show and tell.
Love show and tell.
Yeah. Super interesting because you get to see everybody else's cool shit, but then you also get to be like,
Basically, it's teaching how to flex. At a very young age.
yeah. How to stroke your own ego from the age of 7. So yeah, I love this. We're going to keep doing this, and I think it's a cool way for people to like learn a bit about us because, so they fucking should.
Yeah, because I mean, if they're watching now, it's like, oh, I'm going to learn more today about something.
Yeah. All right, you want to go first?
All right. Well,
what do you want me? How good is your show and tell?
Well,
really?
I don't know. I reckon yours will be way more interesting, and mine will just be fucking random.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, so the other day I was up at Mum and Dad's, and we watched a movie, and it was RoboCop.
Sick.
And I was like, fuck, when did this come out? And apparently the new RoboCop is like, I think it's like 6 years old. It came out in 2014, 6 years old.
Yeah.
And anyway, I don't know why. We just started watching it. It was kind of cool. And then I brought up this thing out of nowhere. Is it, hey, Mum, do we still have my old toys here and stuff like that? She's like, no, I gave it to you when you moved into your house. I was like, okay, well, they must be up on the roof then. Anyway, I was like, I've got this toy. I want to bring it out right now. I've already given it away. So I went up into my roof. I couldn't believe I found it. RoboCop.
Sick.
So this toy I got it when I think I was like 3.
Yeah, right.
So this thing is like 27 years old. And I showed Tyler and he's like, far out, that's like still in mint condition, hey.
Wow.
And it used to talk, and like you press this button and it'd be like, you called for a backup. And it was like, but I remember I used to piss Mum and Dad off so much because I'd walk around the house and I figured out if you hold your finger on this button, it just repeats.
It just keeps going.
So I'd be like, you call for a backup, you call for a backup, you call for a backup. And I just like, but it's broken now. Like it hasn't broken. It's just clearly run out of battery.
Yeah.
It's probably just the battery acid inside has probably washed away. But yeah, here you go. Do you want to have a go on my toy?
That's sick. This is actually like the perfect for a show and tell as well. Because like grade 2, this is the type of shit that you'd bring in as well.
Like an action man or something.
Yeah. Hey, check out me dolls.
So I thought I'd start off show and tell with something so random that RoboCop, I got it when I was 3.
Yeah.
And
no, that's perfect though, because that literally is the shit that you'd bring in to show and tell at school.
Oh no, it was light. I was like, hang on, his eyes
Does he light up?
So
it looks like they might. A little light in his visor there. Just reminds me of that Simpsons episode where they have show and tell. Bart brings in the dog.
Yeah.
And everyone's just like frothing it super hard, and then Milhouse has to follow. He's like, I have a horsey. Yeah. Nay. Pretty lame, Milhouse.
So got RoboCop, and I thought that'll be all right, kick it off. It's but I've actually looked it up. Well, I did the other day. I think it's actually worth a little bit of dollars now.
True.
I was like, well, this is part of the thing with show and tell that I wanted to do is
too bad you took him out of the packaging, mate.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't think about that when I was 3. I didn't care. I wanted to play it. So
that's cool.
Let's look it up. RoboCop toy.
Oh, the other part about show and tell is that like you'll probably get the story if you're listening to the audio only, but I mean, the true benefit of this is going onto YouTube to watch it, because right now, people, like, I could describe RoboCop to you, but you're not going to get the full effect.
No.
And I mean, he's got such a great range of motion as well. Look at this guy. You can get him to do so many things.
Well, I think I found one here. He's 70. Okay, so from America, a secondhand one is $54 plus tax. So,
oh, wow.
I mean,
I got a bunch of cool old Star Wars toys. They're fairly decrepit. I don't know if they're worth anything, but
Well, they might be. I
that
don't
could
know.
be a
Everyone
future
talks
show and
about
tell.
Pokemon cards and how much they're worth now.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
but yeah, that's my first thing for show and tell. I bought in
Sick.
RoboCop.
Sick.
What do you got for us, Nikki?
All right. My show and tell is this little jar. Now, hopefully you can see that on the thing. Now, this was a jar of weed.
Ah,
Yeah, it's Sugar Show OG Kush. It's exotic sativa. So I don't know if you can see. Might be pretty hard, but it's also got a little signature right there on the jar. And that is the signature of Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC fighter.
hey,
Sorry, mate. Is this upsetting you? Is this boring? So Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC fighter. Now, Rani and I did 2 trips to the United States last year, one in March, one in August. And I think it was in the March trip that we met him.
yeah.
So he was doing a meet and greet signing, and it was at a weed dispensary in West Hollywood. So that Sugar Show OG Kush is his signature strain with this company, Atrium Cultivation. And so we went down to the meet and greet in West Hollywood. He was there along with his sort of mate, manager / trainer, who is also a retired UFC fighter, Tim Welch. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor. He's got a gym in Phoenix, Arizona. That's where they train together. And he corners Sugar and X, Y, and Z. They've got a podcast together, the Timbo and Sugar Show. But yeah, we went down to this weed dispensary in West Hollywood. Went in there, bought the jar of weed, met Sugar, met Tim. Sugar signed it for me. They were legends. They were so cool. And there wasn't many people there either, because we got there fairly late in the day. So hung out, had a chat. They were awesome. Got some photos for the gram. And that was sick. And then so immediately after that, we also had tickets to Lakers versus the Nets at Staples Center.
Yeah.
So we got an Uber straight from the dispensary over to Staples Center, and we've been there a couple of times, so we knew that, they look in your bag, they scan you, X, Y, and Z, and I was like, well, weed's legal here now, but I know they still don't really want it in the venue, so what happens here? And we didn't get a chance to smoke it yet. And I was like, and I wanted to keep the jar too. And I was like, I'm not just going to, throw it all out. It's good weed.
Yeah.
And so like a bunch of little hood rats, we went all around the Staples Center, all the streets around to find like the best bush to hide it in. So found a little bush, stuffed the jar of weed in there and all the other little paraphernalia that we got to smoke it. Went into Staples Center. They didn't give a shit, didn't check me at all. Meanwhile, the rest of LA, it smells like weed smoke everywhere.
Does,
People smoke it in the streets now. There's dudes in the smokers area just with joints. So it's like, oh, great. I could have just brought it in.
Yeah.
Great game. The Nets, my team, smashed the Lakers. But they did. Had a great game. Left it. Went outside. Went to find our weed like hood rats.
Yeah.
I think it's actually... Oh, I took a photo. I meant to have it ready, but every time Rani calls me, it's a photo of me and her getting the weed out of the bush. Went back to where we were staying in Santa Monica, caught the train. There was a couple of methies. It was pretty cool. A couple of tweakers. Got back to our room. We stocked up on some, some candy and some ice cream, stuff like that. There was some movie playing. Smoked the weed, and it's the best weed I've ever had in my life. Because Americans have been obsessed with it forever, and now that it's legal, they blend so many different types together. It's a science that goes into making weed now, whereas we just get the most disgusting rat weed from somebody's backyard hydroponic system, you know?
But actually, I don't know, but yeah.
Well, whereas this stuff, it's so beautifully crafted. It was the smoothest thing to smoke.
Yeah, it was like a what do you call it? A delicacy?
Yeah. And I'm not even kidding. It has the aftertaste of lemon drops. I'm not shitting you. And it was the most beautiful, mild, full body high.
Well, that makes sense because it'd be lemon herbs.
Yeah, yeah.
That was meant to be a joke. That's all good.
But yeah, so just this beautiful mild high. Like it was just like I was sitting on the bed watching this movie, eating chocolate, and just felt like every part of my body was being hugged by a puppy. Like it was just beautiful. And then we had to leave the next day, so we gave the rest of it to the motel owner, and he was stoked.
Oh, there you go.
But yeah, that's my story of when I met Sugar Sean O'Malley and bought some of his weed.
Far out. There you go. So here we go. You'll never know what you get at Show and Tell. At What Do You Reckon? Because we got RoboCop and a glass of what was weed.
Yeah. Still sort of smells like it. It was really strong. Like it had these big crystals on it, and it smelled like it was good. And like I'm not a
crystals on it. You sure it was weed?
and I'm not a weed head. Like I have cannabis oil. I use it as recovery after training like jiu-jitsu and martial arts. It just helps, like, with different pain and the recovery process and whatnot. And I'm not a massive weed head. I generally don't enjoy smoking it.
Yeah.
And the oil that I have is made from the leaf, not the bud.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more mellow. But yeah. So if you're in the United States, you can get this, the Sugar Show OG Kush. I highly recommend.
Do you reckon weed will be legal in Australia?
It has to be. They're morons for not doing it already.
Well, I just think like we follow in a lot of steps that America does.
Yeah.
So I think it's only a matter of time, really. Hey.
Yeah, it's
well, isn't it legal in Canberra already?
It's decriminalized. Yeah, which is not the same thing. But if they at least did that everywhere, it would be so much better because it's a healing herb. Like, it's like anything in life. Too much of something is bad. Coffee, sugar, sex, working out. Like too much of it is bad. And it's the same with weed. And if you're somebody who's already quite lazy and doesn't get a lot of stuff done, I don't recommend smoking weed because it's just going to exacerbate those things. But if you use it as a healing herb, you use it sparingly, like you have an understanding of it like I do, you can still function really well and just get all the benefits of it.
There you go.
So yeah, that can be another episode. We'll talk about weed.
There you go. Okay. Well, thanks for coming to Show and Tell.
Yeah.
And thanks for showing and telling.
Sweet,
here's RoboCop. He's not for sale. But
yet.
Yeah, I know. Yet. I know. I'll see what more prices they go for. And well, let's see you at the next Show and Tell.
Yeah.
Unreal.
I think that about wraps that up.
Unreal. You got to get on a plane and piss off.
Jesus, don't remind me.
That's right, I better get back to bed.
Yep. All right. Thanks for joining us. That was a nice short one of What Do You Reckon? Have a great week. Catch you around.